Welcome back to SendSpark Studio South here in sunny Austin, Texas. Humanize your outreach and send a video. Today, we've got Marc Thomas, growth marketer at Podia. Podia is an all-in-one platform for creators to build websites, sell courses, and digital products, and host online communities. Marc, thank you for joining us on the show.
It's extremely nice. Very good to meet you finally.
It's been a while, man. Thank you so much for joining us on I'm Not Selling You Anything. This is the first time we've met face to face. I'm feeling like this is going to be a waste of everyone's time. Are you excited?
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be a waste too, so we'll just end it here.
Okay, this is great. Thank you. Episode was 3 minutes long.
Hey, look, it's the quality of those 3 minutes that counts, Brian. Hey, so you have one of the best named podcasts in tech marketing.
You think so?
Yeah, it's a great name.
You want to know the genesis of it? When I was in the seller's chair, one of the only subject lines that got me responses is I'm not selling you anything. That's what I put on LinkedIn. It's what I put on the subject line of emails. And it's one of the only things that worked.
What's the most risque subject line you've ever sent in a business context?
If you don't open this email, I'm going to kill you.
And did they?
They're not around anymore. All right.
Yeah.
Let's get into the questions. What do you think, Marc? You want to jump into it?
Yeah, hit me.
Marc, so my niece listens to this podcast. Can you explain what you do for work in a way that an 8-year-old would understand?
Yeah, well, my daughter is 6, so this won't work for her, but hopefully in 2 years' time, she'll get it. I work out what people are doing on an app, and I watch what they do, and I look at all the things they've done, and then I find ways to make them do more of the thing that we want them to do, like spend money. So that's what I do. That's also the description I use with people in the sauna. So, they're older than 8.
They're a lot older than 8. Marc, what is your superhero origin story? Your bit by a spider moment. You looked at the world one way and then something happened and it's led you to where you are today.
Yeah, so I used to do a lot of kind of advice sharing on LinkedIn as part of my work mostly. I was working at an agency, a marketing agency at the time. And I kind of got this savior complex, like I can help you save your marketing and you could stop wasting money and just do these things. And then at the end of 2022, I realized I kind of hated that in some ways, both on a personal level, but also because the economy crashed. I don't know if anyone noticed that.
Oh, yeah. I heard it outside a little while ago.
And suddenly it was really, really hard for everyone, right? And everyone was having like the worst year of their life and they didn't need another person saying, do better.
Pontificating.
So I kind of had this kind of Damascus moment where I was just like, oh, I should not do that. And instead, I decided that I would try to make people laugh and have a good time doing it. And honestly, that was kind of a pivotal moment in my career because we'll talk about this more, but I effectively realized I've been kind of censoring my personality for a long time. I'm a creative person and I'd basically just been trying to become corporate.
Now, you say that only until the end of 2022. Did you realize that? I feel like I've caught onto you way before 2022. So you weren't a complete corporate shill.
Professionally a shill, personally a weirdo. Yeah, no, I obviously had a personality outside of my 9 to 5, but I definitely feel like it was a different personality to the one that I was putting across in my work. It was kind of this weird sort of unnecessary bifurcation. And in many ways, it was more appealing, right? More appealing to me because I didn't have to pretend and I could express myself.
I'm sure Sundays are a lot less dreadful now, right? Because you wake up on Monday, you like what you're doing.
I do.
It sounds like you like what you're doing better because of this.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? The thing is, when I started to do that, I stopped having to like compete with everyone else. Everyone's trying to get the same attention over and over again. Every day they're trying to come up with ideas to get more attention. And me, I'm just out here putting out music videos about SaaS marketing and having a good time. And the attention just comes. And I don't really think about view counts or anything like that anymore. I mean, I'm interested, of course, but I no longer stress about, is this going to do well? Because frankly, like I know people like it.
Yeah.
And no one else is doing it. So yeah.
I really like it. I'm like, what does this remind me of? And now I got it. So it reminds me of Flight of the Conchords.
Oh, all right. Okay. Yeah. So you've got the comic, and that's cool because at the end of the day, I just want to make people smile and kind of laugh and be memorable in that way. But actually, I just really, really love punk music and like post-punk music. The band who I think I most sort of looked at when I was starting to do this was Sleaford Mods. I don't know if you ever come across them. Just sort of like angry working class glass, and it's sort of almost like minimalistic punk from the north of England.
When you realize that you can have fun doing your day job, that's kind of when it all changed for you. And it was kind of recent. So
Yeah,
congratulations, is still in order. Marc, what challenges are you solving today, and how are you solving them differently?
I guess the first one is about making customer insight more available at Podia so that we develop the right stuff for the right people. Now, Podia's got like a really heavy customer research focused culture. Everything about the product is very responsive to customer needs. Same for the marketing. But now the marketing team is set up to get these really structured insights and get them to the product team so that we build features that people like. And we launched an email marketing platform earlier this year. And that was kind of developed in response to customer research. They needed email marketing. They hated using MailChimp or, whatever. And when we put together a feature set that they were able to use in a way that connected all of their existing stuff that was on Podia, suddenly it was like, well, yeah, obviously I want to use this. And so that was great. It was amazing. But the second challenge right now is more broad. So Podia is known as a course builder tool in the market. That's what it's been for years. But that's not how we think of ourselves anymore as a company. So obviously we still have that functionality and a lot of people still use the product for that. But as I just said, we released email marketing earlier this year. We also released a website builder. And so now we think of ourselves in the same market as, say, Squarespace or
Wix.
Wix, right? There you go. Or even WordPress and MailChimp. So we're competing with real sort of silverbacks in their own industries. And you know what's hard about that is that those guys are massively VC funded and Podia is not. So we're in a position where we're trying to get a lot of attention and become known for stuff that we've never been known for in a market with people whose some of their budgets are significantly larger.
Dude, they have Super Bowl commercials. Come on.
Yeah, I'm still angling for that Super Bowl commercial.
That's on you? Okay. Thank you for answering that one, Marc. That last part rang true to me. You said you're trying to stand out in a crowded market of silverbacks. Obviously, there's some players that have been in the market for a while, and you're out there trying to make some noise, like stand up, kind of wave your arms. And I think the type of content that you put together is the type of thing that would actually do the job.
And you know what the cool thing is? It's not just about us, right? So we're not just relying on our own skills at creating interesting content. So we recently ran a sponsorship program. We started building this anyway. And the goal there is to sponsor users who have large audiences themselves, our own customers who have large audiences, to make content that's relevant to their audiences so that Podia becomes intertwined in their existing narrative. And then we benefit from this really broad, interesting content. Some examples of things that people made as part of that, where somebody did a cake tutorial, which was all centered around the brand color of Podia. And while she was doing the icing on the cake, she gave a pitch about Podia, and that went down really well.
And that was by your marketing team that put it together, or this was user generated?
Yeah, so we basically just said to our users, hey, we want to do this. We want you to create the content. We don't want to do it for you. We'd prefer it if it wasn't just like a plain old ad read, but here is a script if you want to. And then people came back with amazing, interesting ideas. So we had this cake lady who produced this Podia cake. Also, one of the finest moments of my marketing career was getting a company, a YouTube channel who make whole foods recipes. We managed to get them to create a juice, a purple drink called Creative Juice, which I pitched initially as a joke in an internal marketing thing.
That's the dream.
I did it, and it was bright purple. Again, while they were making that juice, they talked about Podia and the use of Podia in their business.
What did you offer as in return for this?
I can't remember the specific details, but it was money. We literally paid people as the sponsorship. Yeah, I mean, it's been super interesting. People have come back with really cool ideas. We'll happily give people creative concepts, but mostly people are coming up with interesting things for themselves.
Marc, I'm curious because you're a wild man and you like doing things a little bit differently. What is exciting you out there in the B2B world? Any cool technology or trends that is making you kind of go,
Yeah, I am all about this year, the move that a lot of people are making away from kind of playbook based marketing. The last 10 years, if you want to market a tech product or a software product in particular, you've got probably 5 playbooks that you run. So those are like use search to generate high volume traffic, or the opposite of that, which is do pain point focused content only so that people convert more, or you do super targeted like paid media and kind of stuff like that. But what we're seeing is that because market conditions have changed for one, but also because privacy has become more important, literally legislation is
Like
making it hard for
GDPR?
us. GDPR, the iOS 16 privacy
Ah.
updates, all this kind of stuff. And then you've got masses of VC money pouring into markets. And suddenly all of our playbooks are becoming increasingly hard to run. And also the big companies in each market, there are not that many different kinds of software that you can have at the end of the day. You know, there's lots of niches, but if you've got a CRM product, you're competing with Salesforce. Doesn't matter which industry you're in.
At some point, you're going to meet them down the road.
Yeah, and it's not even just CRM, right? Because maybe it's invoicing. If you're an invoicing app, you're also competing with Salesforce because maybe they've got some kind of documents or files app or whatever within their product. They're going to get the same market share as you eventually. So, how do you compete with, say, someone like that, or ClickUp is another example, who have absolutely eaten up adjacent markets with a tool that is really good and a marketing budget that is, I assume, pretty healthy. You have to go beyond those playbooks and you have to ask, where are my customers? What are they doing? How do they feel? What are they concerned about? Where do they feel underserved by these companies? And then the second thing is, how can I come up with genuinely interesting and undervalued campaigns, channels that make sense for that market on the basis that I understand them already? That's the second part of that. And the third part, which is really important if you actually want to make this happen, is that you can no longer just point on a Google Analytics property to a specific report and say that's the ROI of our marketing. Because firstly, Google Analytics is trash.
Yep.
It doesn't work anymore. And secondly, because like a lot of these tools, these channels, these playbook or post playbooks that we're running are not measurable in the same way that the others were. And so you have to come up with a sort of a narrative that involves a mixture of different data sources, some qualitative, some quantitative.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to put together a bunch of screenshots of people talking about the
Yeah.
product, things that would have
for sure.
never surfaced in any other dashboard. It's just not going to happen.
Exactly. And it's actually the combination of those sources that is the real value here, because no marketing exec is going to get by at a board level, for example, by saying, look, here's the screenshots of the self-reported attribution survey we did. But they might do if they say, also, here's the uptick in traffic we saw, all that kind of stuff. And so I put this into a framework that I like to call rinse and repeat. So we've got relate to customers. That's R. We've got I, which is ideate. So come up with interesting and novel ideas for how to actually respond to those customers that you just related to. And then narrate, which is the N in rinse. And that is about building a narrative around the impact of your marketing. And then obviously you got to repeat that over and over again because there's no end in sight here. We're not going back to the old
RINR, right?
Rinse, rinse and repeat.
That's the playbook. And that's what's interesting to you. People are starting to buck the norm in a way. Like you said, everything's commoditized. Everyone's got so much money. Everyone's running the same playbooks and people are getting a little bit different. And that's what's interesting. That's pretty cool.
I think so.
Mark, I'm sure you might have seen in the news that Loom, a company very much like SendSpark, was recently acquired by Atlassian. What are your thoughts on video for outbound? Obviously, I know that you're a big fan of video. You are a media creator. What are your thoughts on using video as an outbound strategy to get someone interested, or to see if someone's interested, to see if someone's open to a meeting?
I am very pro video for outbound, but here's what I'll say. Firstly, I actually had a blog post on Loom's blog about this from years ago.
Oh, okay. So you're sold on it.
Yeah, actually, I think I've done some selling for Loom. And
wait a second. Did you work for Loom?
Yeah. No, I didn't. I never worked for
but I was like, am I miss something?
I did a guest blog. It was a cool campaign, actually. Basically, I had this theory that our users at a different company that I ran would be more likely to upgrade to paid plan if they received a personalized message. Now, the
personalized video message.
Exactly, personalized video message. But I also tested text only, and the personalized video massively outperformed the free to paid upgrade. I'm struggling to remember these numbers off the top of my head because it was like 5 years ago, but it was significant enough that Loom thought they should publish a case study about this.
That's right. They were in small fish 5 years ago. So if they got my boy from the city by the sea, little old Cardiff, all on the big page, that'd be pretty good, man.
It was a good case study. But here's the thing about this, right? So I think that the technology is great, right? So the technology of sending a personalized video is great. It doesn't matter which platform, in a certain sense, you're actually doing that. The challenge here is you still got to have something useful to put into that video. Now, where I think think we can go is by being more like this, right? People who are selling with video, don't just put someone's face in it and go, hey, I'm sending you this personal video. Let's connect. Say something interesting. Do it with character. At the moment, I'm actually working on a project where I'm going to be sending remixes of people's YouTube shorts to them as outreach.
Oh, because it's a creator platform. I see. That's interesting.
And yeah, I mean, it's just a skill I've got, right?
Yeah.
These are sort of like lo-fi remixes, but I take someone's YouTube short of them talking on a podcast like this and like chop up their vocals and turn it into a beat and then put in like a key quote and stuff like that. It gets people's attention. And I tested this out in a really sort of lo-fi way as well. What I did was I started going onto YouTube, pulling off these little shorts that people are doing, chopping them up, and then putting them directly onto LinkedIn just publicly and seeing what the response was. And it was incredible, frankly.
Yeah, people see themselves called out on a professional network. You can't ignore it. If it's YouTube, you can a little bit easier, but it still seems like you put some work in, and obviously you're going to get responses from these creators that you'd like to get attention from to possibly check out Podia, right?
For sure. And it just works. And you don't need permission to do it because you're making something with their stuff and you're saying like, this is great. I mean, I don't know if I'll get sued eventually, but I doubt it.
It's speed, man. If you do it quick enough and you got whatever you got to do, maybe you can delete it off the internet, but you made friends and they're not mad. So do it in a respectful way that calls them out. You're in on the joke with these people. Like it's very much how I produce things and put them on LinkedIn or on TikTok and at these large corporations that end up down the road taking meetings with us. It's because of things like that. I think that's really, really cool, man.
I love your stuff as well. I think it's really interesting. Just let me give you a little message here. You have an interesting style. It feels very authentic to you, even though we've only just met in person for the first time. I can already tell like you're yourself. And you know what? I think if you take, actually, if someone listening to this takes something away, it's like, here's two guys who are doing pretty well with video, who are just being themselves on video and not really, I mean, I'm not massively concerned about being judged anymore because I've done it so many times now. You know, maybe
Isn't
when
that
I
nice?
first started. Yeah, it's nice. And I feel like when I sit down at my desk and I'm like, oh, okay, got to create something today. I'm like, I actually want to do this. And also I'm not scrambling for ideas because I'm just being myself.
Yeah, that's the fun part of it. When you could clips that when you get there, and I see it in your, because you take your everyday stuff also, and that's the stuff that comes off extremely authentic. And I feel like it relates to me a lot because I do it in the same way. It'll be something that I was inspired in the morning or in the middle of the night. I'll write it down, or maybe I was out and I thought of something and I'll incorporate it in a way. Well, I'm not really sitting down and being like, oh, I got to think of these ideas. It's just, we get paid to do a hobby. We get paid to do something we like,
right,
which is crazy to say. And I think people grow up and say that. And I thought for a long, long time that people just said it. There was this thing that, oh, you will get paid to do the things you like to do. I'm like, that's not for me. That's for other people that were born in a different way or a different world, like aristocracy. That's not for me. I don't know if you ever thought of it that way. When you woke up one day and realized that you're getting paid to do something that you really like to do, when you actually take a second and look back and realize, I didn't think it was real forever. Did you feel that way?
If I'm honest, my parents always told me I was special and I fully bought into it. So
beautiful. And you did it. And that's fine. That's the other side of it. My parents always said I was a nice guy. Yeah, you're a good guy. That's fine. I mean, it was nurtured. And maybe if it was nurtured for me a little bit more, I'd have better lighting in the back. I'd have the music video stuff is hilarious and just such on another level of creativity that I need to get to. Maybe I'll get to at some point, but it's just something that clearly from another creator that is really good.
That's so interesting because when I've thought about these videos, I've often looked at the stuff that you do and I thought, I really like how Brian's done that. He's really put a different angle on that. And also some of your videos are genuinely art. Some of them I'm like, I would never have thought to shoot this video in that way. And I'm really into independent cinema. And I'm like, some of this stuff is art level that Brian is doing.
Thank you very much. I'll take it. I'll take the massage. I appreciate the massage. But again, this is more about you. Thank you so much, Marc. I am screaming inside from that. Marc, what talent do you have that you're not using?
I got a couple. I can lick my elbow, which is meant to be physically impossible.
Oh, you dude. Okay, if you're watching this, you will see it happen. Very nice.
Meant to be impossible. I can also do this thing. You might not be able to see this because it's a black t-shirt, but hang on, you can't see it. Oh man, that's so annoying. I could stick my shoulder blades right out.
Oh!
Independently. And I can actually crush stuff with them, like a hand, for example.
Like a chestnut?
No, it's like a great thing to tell someone, hey, put your hand in between my shoulder blades.
Yeah, that's a great pub move.
That's it. I can also rollerblade, pretty high level.
Like the movie, what was the rollerblade movie?
Are you going to say Hackers? Because not like that.
Oh, no, I'm thinking airborne. Airborne.
Oh man, yeah, I guess so. I haven't seen that in years.
Hackers. I haven't seen
Hackers
that
is
one
great.
yet. I need to get Hackers on
I
my
think
screen ASAP.
Hackers, I think, is the aesthetic of our generation.
It's on Max. Okay,
There
I'm
you
watching
go.
that tonight.
I listen to the soundtrack to Hackers quite a lot, actually. It's got Prodigy, it's got Orbital. It's got a bit of David Bowie on there as well, actually, from when David Bowie did a little bit of dance music. Actually, an actual practical talent is that I speak 4 languages.
Any
And I
Spanish?
only use 2 of them. No, I don't. I'm sorry. But I do speak French, and so I do understand a lot of Spanish, but maybe not the Spanish that you're speaking, because here I am in Europe.
Right.
One thing that I was amazed to find out is that if you're an English speaker, you already know about 25,000 words in Spanish because they are the same root, and the ending is just different.
25,000, I'm sorry?
25,000 words. Yeah.
So you don't get to use the languages as much as you'd like. You speak 4 of them. So you speak, obviously, Cantonese, English.
I speak English, Welsh, which is like my day to day. I speak French and German. Yeah, there's only about 1 million Welsh speakers in the world, and we're all here. And also a tiny little bit in Argentina because of Patagonia. But yeah, it's so weird when you hear someone from Patagonia speaking Welsh, they speak it with a Spanish accent, and it sounds
that's gotta be
very different.
That's got to throw you for a loop. I always get thrown for a loop. I'm from New York, and I'd go to Chinese restaurants in the Bronx where the Chinese workers would speak perfect Spanish, but New York Spanish. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
That sounds good. As we're talking about music as well, we have been. And now we're talking about Spanish in New York. Have you ever heard Vel the Wonder?
Veiled Wonder?
Vel the Wonder, like VEL, the Wonder.
No.
She's got, I assume it's based in New York. It's like a concept album called La Senya Avenue.
Vel the Wonder. Okay, this is really good. No, I didn't hear about it, but thank you. La Senya Avenue. Yeah.
So good.
Experimental, really like Brian Eno experiment. Would you call that experimental?
Brian Eno is extremely experimental.
Okay, it is, right? I thought that I was like, I was either going to fly with that one or just go boom.
Yeah.
That should make a pretty good list here for me so far. Because you mentioned that you like punk rock, right? Punk and post.
I do. I like punk.
I am a big fan of going to, I don't know if you have them around you in Cardiff, emo night.
Amazing, man.
I have yet to go to an emo night down here in Texas since I moved here. I used to go to them a lot in New York. And tomorrow I'm planning on going to my first one. And I'm going to try and grab as much inspiration from that night.
Okay.
Pepper in to here.
You want some emo that I really love?
Yeah.
One of my all-time favorite albums is Something to Write Home About by the Get Up Kids.
Oh, nice.
I think my favorite song on there is probably Valentine. And then just yesterday, I was listening to Brand New. I was listening to Déjà Entendu, which is just an all-time favorite as well.
That's the number one right there for me.
Yeah. How do you feel about The Devil and God Are Raging Inside Me?
I really like that album. I actually recently came back to the song was either called Luca or Limousine, where I didn't know there was like a back half to the song.
Right.
It's like a 7-minute song. I think it's Limousine. But
I'm gonna have to listen again.
Yeah, the back half just absolutely rips.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. And it made me listen to the whole album again. Mark, what purchase of $100 or less has most positively impacted your life in the last 6 months or in recent memory?
I actually don't have one of $100 or less. I'm just flashy like that, you know. Everything I buy is over $100. But let me show you this. I bought this thing, which
dude, this show is PG. I don't want to know.
It's a kneeling chair.
Oh, okay. Is that what you're using right now?
Well, I'm standing right now. My desk is like a sit-stand desk. And when you're on a kneeling chair, it's immense. It's kind of like you're constantly praying, except you're working.
Except you're praying to the gods of
productivity.
And YouTube.
It is amazing. I got this kneeling chair. I feel like it drastically improved my posture and back pain.
So you used to be one of these guys, and now
I was hunched over. Actually, I was kind of like the opposite. I was kind of like
bowed back.
I was just
so you were walking around like this,
just laid back.
So you walked around like you were constantly being blown back by the wind. By the wind. By the wind.
Yeah.
All right.
What I'll
So
say about myself.
The kneeling chair. Okay, so they're a little bit more than $100, but listen.
$200.
Okay, I mean the exchange rate is something like that, right?
More or less.
Okay, that makes sense. Mark, what is an unusual habit or absurd thing that you love? What makes you weird?
Sometimes I think about what it might be like to wrestle strangers in a car park at night. I envision the nighttime, the feeling of ghee rubbed all over our bodies, The smell of tarmac after rain, the roar of the crowd, the victory of the floodlights and the neon. Pain is temporary, glory lasts several minutes.
Mark, so it's not neon, it's police lights, I think is what it
Yeah,
is.
cherry tops, huh?
Here's the thing. That could have gone into like just psychopath very quickly.
Yeah.
It can, I think it still can. So the
Yeah.
door is still open for you to be a psychopath, but
Yeah.
right now it's kind of, you're okay to hang around in society because wrestling is just wrestling.
Hey, look, it's what consensual adults do in inner city car parks on a Friday night.
Did you say it was dark out? Are you sure this is consensual, dude? Are you
It's
sure you didn't run
extremely
out
dark out.
from a bush or from a dock? Because you're by the sea.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you so much for that answer. That was easily the best answer to what makes you weird
Thank you.
that we've had here on I'm Not Selling You Anything. All right, fantastic. Thank you so much for that. Sadly, Mark, we've arrived at our final question of our conversation. It's everyone's favorite question. It's the Billboard question. Are you ready?
I am.
Mark, if you could have a billboard with anything on it, everyone would drive by it every single day and read it. What would it be and why?
It's easy. It's a white billboard. And then in uppercase, Futura Black, massive old letters, it just reads, everything is going to be okay. And that's it. No branding, just positivity, interesting message, hope.
Everything is going to be okay.
A friend of mine just bought a billboard for the day in Times Square, and it cost her $500.
Was it up for 30 seconds?
She got 1 minute every hour for 24 hours.
That kind of sounds like a deal, dude.
That's an amazing deal. And now I'm thinking, maybe I should just do that. Maybe I should just put this message. No, maybe I should just put this message onto a billboard. It's like a nice thing.
I like it. But also, if you're going to do that, you might want to at least add positive human, real small amount.
Well, right? I mean, like the question is, do I want that or do I want 3 of these?
Oh, like on it?
No, I mean, for $500, I could get two and a half kneeling
I thought
chairs.
You were saying you wanted those up on Times Square just to preach the gospel of kneeling chairs. I was like, that's interesting. That's really weird.
Either that or an invite to my next Ghee wrestling meet.
And after the Ghee wrestling, you get to roll around on a hot pan. Very nice.
Bring your own Ghee.
Marc Thomas, thank you so much for joining us on the show. For our listeners, follow Marc Thomas on LinkedIn, on X. Subscribe to his newsletter, Positive Human, which actually has the parts in this episode that spoke about work and looking at them in a different way. And some of the real advice that was in this episode, I find a lot in his newsletter. So I highly recommend it. And Marc, just really from the bottom of my heart, you're someone that I've looked up to in a way, kind of doing the growth marketer role. And I see that you do things oddly and differently and obviously draws attention and entertaining. And that kind of led me to say, keep going. And it really, truly has inspired me to keep doing what I'm doing. So keep doing your thing or else I won't do mine. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sam.